Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again to another video where we're going to be taking a look at some deleted material from the James Bond films. This time we're going to be looking at the deleted scenes found on the Blu-ray disc of the first Daniel Craig Bond film, Casino Royale. As with all of my other deleted scene videos in this series, we're going to watch each of the deleted scenes through in turn, and then we're going to talk a bit about perhaps the logic behind why they were deleted in the first place, and whether the film would actually maybe benefit from having kept those scenes in there. Unlike most of the other deleted scenes we've looked at, these don't actually come with an introduction from director Martin Campbell, so they're just gonna kind of play without much context. So I'm gonna be doing quite a bit of projecting, I think, onto why they were cut out based on interviews that I've heard with Martin Campbell, you know, in other places. But it should make for an interesting experience. And also, like the other videos I've done in this series, I have of course seen these deleted scenes before. I'm not reacting to them for the first time ever, but to be honest, it's been some time since I've seen them, and I remember a couple that are gonna be in here. I'm not sure how many there are. We've got 7 minutes 49 seconds worth of deleted footage here. So with all that being said, let's dive right in, shall we? Okay, here goes. Wow, they really do throw you right into it. Great music. Oh, you can hear his eyes, like, ugh, squidgy, oh, God.
Francesco, risveglio. Francesco.
Io aumento il dosaggio di te.
So we see all this in the film. Oh?
I'll get the doctor.
Not him.
James, listen to me. You're in good hands. There's no way to know what kind of damage has been caused by the wounds that didn't become infected over the past few weeks. So there is a good chance.
What?
Ice chips are about all you get. Any ideas?
What?
Why they left the two of you alive?
Huh, okay. Wow. That was a long sequence, wow. And so a good chunk of that was stuff that's already in the film. I guess it's more extended stuff. So obviously this is towards the end of the film after the torture sequence. I think the stuff of most note here is seeing Mathis and the paramedics sort of bringing Bond into the hospital, which is all very interesting. I actually quite like all that stuff with the paramedics. I know that Casino Royale kind of goes perhaps a little bit overboard in some places to kind of set itself aside from the other Bond films, particularly regarding sort of, you know, Bond's injuries and these kinds of things. And I quite like that it shows that, oh yeah, actually it requires a team of people to get this guy, like, through this, actually. He's not just gonna sort of push through with his own resilience. It's actually gonna take an awful lot of medical care to bring him back up to where he was previously. So I like that. And then there's the whole sort of like thing with Mathis in the hospital room, which is, and then Bond goes for the scissors because obviously he suspects that Mathis is a villain at this point, and then he falls off the bed, and then we cut to. So I don't know if we get much out of that. It's more just kind of teasing that Mathis could actually be a villain. And then, of course, it's later on revealed that it's actually Vesper. How this scene plays in the film works much better. Like, it's much more elegant to just go from, yeah, the shot of Le Chiffre dying to Bond in hospital. That works so much better. I like what they're going for with all of the paramedics and the nurses rushing Bond into the hospital, but it's not necessary, and I feel like it would have created quite a bit of a lull in the pace of the film had this stuff being left in there. It's much more economical with how they've edited it, and I don't think that you miss out on much by not having these scenes in there.
Good morning. You sleep well?
Yes, apart from the nightmares of squandering public funds.
Well, it's nice to know you're so concerned about our tax revenue.
Do secret agents pay taxes?
It's unfair, isn't it?
Can you deduct for bullets and poison darts?
Of course. Under standard business expenses.
Hotel's Long Beach, huh?
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Huh. Okay, so I guess these aren't playing in the order in which they play in the film, which is going to make, potentially make this a little bit more tricky, figuring out where they would fit. So this is obviously after Bond and Vesper met on the train. They've just arrived at Montenegro, and the taxi is, of course, just taking them to Casino Royale. So this just gives us a little bit more nice banter between Bond and Vesper, which is quite cool. I like in one of these shots you see on the left, one of the ladies who's going to end up playing cards with Bond later on in the film, which is quite a nice touch. Yeah, I like the little sniping that they do, but considering that we just had an entire scene of that on the train, and then there's going to be more sort of stuff in the taxi, and I like the dialogue. It's snippy, the actors deliver it very well. You just don't kind of need it. I like that they touch upon whether Bond pays taxes. That's quite a almost Fleming-esque little detail. I don't think it gives you anything that isn't already in there. It's nice. Like I say, I like this. I just don't think that, to say Casino Royale is already one of the longest Bond films anyway, they don't need to double up on some of the information that they're trying to convey to you. And this would have been just kind of more of what we already have. So, yeah, don't need it. Right, here we go with deleted scene number 3. Ah, yes, I remember this one very well. Okay, so this is obviously the pre-title sequence. So this stuff's all what's already in the film.
M really doesn't mind you earning a little money on the side, Dryden. She'd just prefer it if it wasn't selling secrets.
You've got the wrong man, Bond.
The theatrics are supposed to scare me. You have the wrong man, Bond. If Em was so sure I was bent...
Should have sent a 00.
Benefits of being section chief. I don't know if anyone...
Well, this is all what's in the film already.
Status. No. Your file shows no kills. And it takes 2.
Here we go.
You aren't a cricket fan by any chance,
Huh. God, this must have taken some setting up. There's a lot of extras here. Bond's more like Michael Myers here. Oh, abrupt. Honestly, yeah, that was the. Perhaps didn't need to edit in quite all that footage from the film into there for context, but yeah, okay. So this is obviously an extended fight. Well, it's not even an extended fight sequence. It's just sort of more of a build-up to the fight sequence in the pre-credit sequence of Casino Royale. And thank goodness they cut this out of the film. It's all like really nicely shot and done and everything, but yeah, for that moment, like in the film, how it's cut, and it takes two, bang, into the fight, kind of seeing him in his first kill. It's really well edited. It's a nice punch. It's got so much paciness to it. To have this sequence, this whole build-up thing in there, it's just kind of unnecessary. And it does kind of bring up a lot of questions about why the guy running away from Bond would think that running to the bathroom would be the best place to go and hide and have this fight. It's all a bit, yeah, it brings up more questions than what it answers. In the film, it's just a really cool, like, yeah, it's just Bond in the middle of a fight. We don't need to know anything else. All we need to know is that he needs to kill this guy, and that's it. The whole thing about cricket, like, I'm asking questions that I didn't need to even know. Yeah, thank goodness this was cut. It's so much better how it is in the film. Okay, on to deleted scene number 4. Oh, we're back at the end of the film now. Couldn't they have at least ordered them in, like, the order they take place? Oh, Getler. At the hotel.
Old boyfriend?
No, I just saw him on the canal.
Oh, it's a small town.
I'll see you back here in half an hour.
It's a gentleman just here. Reminds me of a friend of mine who lost an eye.
Mr. Getler.
That's him. What does he do now?
Mr. Getler repairs watches. He's here for the conference.
There's a conference for watch repair?
There is a conference for everything, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it. Okay, so obviously this is at the very end of the film, and Getler is not in the hotel. I really like this, actually. So obviously this sequence shows that Getler is at the hotel, and he's obviously doing some snooping around, probably because Vesper's there. And you can actually see him there in the final film, in the distance when Bond and Vesper are coming down the stairs. So he is there. Obviously this draws more attention to it. The reason why I like this sequence is that it draws Bond's attention to him, because earlier on when we see Getler in the film, it's when they're on the boat and they're passing and Vesper's taking some photos and she spots Getler and has a reaction. Bond doesn't notice Getler or presumably Vesper's reaction to her. So I like this because it shows Bond investigating who this guy is. It's like Bond has picked up on this detail and is looking into it. It's obviously a little hint that there's something more going on with Vesper. Maybe it telegraphs a bit too much that she's going to sort of double cross him, or that there is a little bit more going on here. Maybe the balance in the film is a little bit more better, particularly as this scene would have just come after Bond and Vesper fooling around in the bed, and prior to that we already have a scene of Vesper making bug eyes at Mr. Getler. So it repeats that detail, which is probably why they cut it out at the end of the day. You didn't need Vesper reacting to this man twice, but like I say, I do like it because we see Bond reacting to that man. So yeah, I quite like it. He doesn't do much with the information, obviously, and the thing about the watch conference, I think it's a nice line. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, so, and particularly as Mr. Getler ends up just being killed, he's not going to be developed anymore in any later films, so the detail about the watch is kind of unnecessary. All that being said, I really like it because it's a good Bond moment. You see him noticing something suspicious, he looks into it. Obviously, it becomes a bigger deal in his life later on, but I like that even at this stage, he would be like, gonna check in on this. Okay, so of all the deleted scenes that we've watched, that last one is the only one that I would have actually preferred to be in the film. I know you don't need it, but it's a nice Bond moment, and maybe Bond is a little bit too sort of lulled into a false sense of security at the end of Casino Royale. He thinks he's off with Vesper and it's all happy days. This kind of hints at like, oh no, he's still on the ball, he's still sort of noticing things that are perhaps a little bit out of place or out of the ordinary, and acting up on them, and I like that. The rest, however, you totally don't need, and the film works much better with the sort of like, certainly lose the cricket, certainly lose the stuff with Mathis and the paramedics. The other scene with Bond and Vesper just having some more dialogue together is quite sweet. I like it as its own little thing, but I don't think you don't need it in the film at all. So, there we go. That was a relatively small and surprisingly uneventful selection of deleted scenes, actually. I think with other Bond films that we've looked at, there's been more stuff that's kind of either been quite eyebrow-raising or would have actually added a lot to the film. These are kind of quite standard deleted scene fare, I suppose. And it's easy to see why all of them were cut. It's just kind of doubling up on information or giving you information that you don't really need. So, yeah, there we go. That is it for this time, Mr. Bond fans, but if you would like to stay up to date on future video uploads that I will be making on this channel, then please do go below and hit the subscribe button, and the little notification button as well if you would like to be notified every time I upload a video. And below there are also, as always, links to my various social media pages, my Facebook page, my Twitter page, and my Patreon page, so please do follow those links if you would like to follow me or support me on any of those channels, and stay tuned for more deleted scene videos, and until next time, Bond fans, so long for now.